So that old man will say, watch this. And then 5 minutes later, two people will come out, they'll start fighting, and there'll be a lady and a man, and the lady hits the man upside the head with a frying pan, and then she goes back in the house, and the old man sits there and laughs. How did he know that was going to happen? That is his intelligence combined with his knowledge and experience, combined with his application of wisdom. And see, those three things combined can make all the difference between somebody who's what we call smart and somebody who's not so smart. Now, you can be smart just because you have the capacity to learn, or you could be smart because you have a whole lot of information, or you could be smart because you know how to deploy the information that you have, or any three of those combinations. Okay, so I would venture to say that there's no dumb people unless you have no experience, no capacity to learn, and no wisdom to apply what you've learned. I would say there's no dumb people, but I can say that there are people who know less than other people, and there are people who apply more than other people. Like, you get some rich people who have found one trick. The monkey knows one trick, but he knows it so well that he could lose all his money, do that one monkey trick, and get all his money back. Whereas an intelligent person out there is working a 9 to 5, and you'd say, okay, well, dog can't be so smart because he's been working for 65 years, where this dude is 18 and he got millions. So there's different aspects of applying wisdom, intelligence, and knowledge to gain your objectives. And everybody has a different objective and different goal. Somebody asked me, oh, Key, what's success? And I say success to me is the ability to live the type of life that you want to live. Success is the ability for you to do you. All right, so let's continue. Now we're going back to evolution. I just had to clarify some of those things so that we could be on the same playing field, because a lot of people will come and want to have a debate, but I tell them, you can't have a debate with me unless you understand the subject. If you don't understand the subject, then you can't debate the subject. And then if somebody comes you with the facts of the subject, then really there is no debate. The conversation's over. Those are the facts. The facts supersede what you think, what you feel, what you believe. Regardless, these are the facts. All right, so when we're talking about facts and we're talking about human biology and evolution, we discussed a lot of the adaptations, things like shorter limbs to body ratio. We discussed things like fatty tissue and that affecting the layers of the skin. We talked about how vitamin D and sunlight and radiation can cause mutations and so forth. We talked about hair follicles, the density of the hair, the density in placement per inch, and we talked about the shape of the hair. Now we're going to talk about some physical features, the physical things that actually affect the skull. If you take note from this point on, you'll know that people who typically have a older humanoid skull have brow ridges, and those brow ridges come from an older hominid species, which is called Homo neanderthalis. I think it's Homo neanderthalis, but anyways, then we call them Neanderthals. They have more pronounced brow ridges. Homo sapiens have more pronounced jawbone. So if you look at a black person from the side, like me, for example, you can see that my jawbone protrudes more than my upper head. That's a characteristic of a Homo sapiens skull. Also the eye sockets, the shape of the eye sockets, the shape of the nose cavity. In my case, I got a really, really wide nose. But if I was living in an environment where the air was thinner, typically in a mountainous region or a cavernous region, then my nose would be thinner in order to deal with the air in that region. So that's why a lot of people that we call Caucasian today, even though they're not the original Caucasian is well, let me break it down. I'll break it down in the next video. I'll just tell you that's why Caucasian people have narrower noses, and Asian people, since they live in the flats and the tundras, their noses need to be robust like ours, but ours is robust to deal with the heat, whereas theirs is more robust like a Neanderthal to warm the air before it went into the system. So that's why you have 3 different types of noses from those 3 different types of what we today call races of people. But they're not different races of people. We're all one race of people. We just have different outward characteristics that evolved during the Ice Age. And the very last one that evolved, which was 8 to 10,000 years ago, was white skin. So you had a cultural development that changed so that we think differently and we act differently, we live differently. We have a biological one because of the food we ate. And then the last one, we have a visual one, which is white skin or light skin. That only evolved 8,000 years ago. This is your boy Key. Hope you can